Friends, as you know, again your online class started, and I am here with ecology, the chapter 14. As 13th chapter we discussed and already completed, and this chapter 14 having ecosystem, that is the topic of the chapter ecosystem. And in this chapter we will discuss different type of ecosystem as well as their components. Okay, so see, what is ecosystem? All of you know that interaction between the living and non-living, they make the ecosystem. So we can also say that it is the functional unit of nature where living organisms interact among themselves. So they interact themselves also. So this is the ecosystem, in which way each living organism interact themselves. So see here, you understood that ecosystem is of either terrestrial or aquatic. In terrestrial ecosystem, there is forest ecosystem, glacial ecosystem, desert ecosystem, and aquatic ecosystem having pond, lake, wetlands, river, estuaries. They may be either the marine, these are the freshwater ecosystem, and marine ecosystem also there. So we discuss about these particular things in which the terrestrial ecosystems belong and aquatic ecosystems belong. And you know that men also make the ecosystem, that the aquarium and crop fields are the man-made ecosystems. So this is the artificial ecosystem. These are natural and this is the artificial one. Now components of ecosystems are the productivity, decomposition, energy flow and nutrient cycling. These are the components of ecosystem. So see, we will discuss about the ecosystem, which is collectively the living and non-living assemblage. You see, forest ecosystem. What things we can see there? Forest ecosystem. When we talk about ecosystem, when we talk about the forest, what is there? There is the scenery that so many big trees, or we can say dense plantation of trees are there, having so many wild animals, and as well as the density of the trees are excess. So see, forest ecosystem comprises the living and non-living component. So abiotic component of forest ecosystem, abiotic component are, that is the air, water, temperature, sunlight, okay. These are the abiotic components of that forest ecosystem. If we discuss about the biotic component of forest ecosystem, it is different from others. Biotic component. So say in biotic components, you will see there is the different levels: producer, consumer, producers, consumers, decomposers. Okay, but when we talk about the consumer, no, there is different consumer, different levels of consumer. So say consumer, that is primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, or we can say top consumer. When we discuss about after the consumers die or producer die, their decomposition is going on, or they decompose, or we can say the body of living organism when die or death, then the some detritivores, we can say decomposers, can decompose them. So decomposers. So these are the producer, these are the consumers, and then of the living forest ecosystem. So say air, water, temperature, sunlight is the abiotic component. So the amount of air, water, temperature, sunlight can fluctuate the nature. It means overall climatic condition is different. If the suitable conditions there for the growing of trees or plants, their forest become very much dense and very much fruitful or developed. So if the abiotic components not supported the biotic components, they will not develop. So the desert present in the desert where there is no forest. Why? Because there is no suitable climatic conditions which support the living organism, either plants or animals. Because harsh conditions were there, so abiotic components when support the environment, we can say the system or the ecosystem become very much fruitful or become very much growing or developing. But if they are not supported, they will not develop very much or their growth become very much retarded. Now biotic component producer of forest means what? They are the mainly trees. Big trees are the producer. So producers are the trees. So trees means big photosynthetic system. They can produce food or they convert the solar energy into chemical energy, and this is the vast activities takes place by the help of producer. So trees are the producer mainly in the forest. Consumers are of different levels. So they are either consumer of primary level, secondary level, tertiary level, or top consumer. See, in forest, what is the primary consumers? They eat the leaves of the tree. They may be the elephants, they may be giraffe, they may be other big plants. They can hold the leaf, means they can eat the leaves of the big trees. So primary consumers are the herbivores, mainly the elephant, sometimes the squirrels, they can live on the tree. They may be monkeys, monkey, giraffe, squirrel, so these are the primary consumers. They consume the leaf of the tree. They are the primary consumer. Now secondary consumer depend on primary consumer. They are mainly the carnivores. We can say the lion, tiger, wolf. They are the primary consumer may be the smaller one. So lion, tiger are the tertiary or top consumer. So secondary consumer may be the wolf, or we can say they are the small carnivores. Secondary and tertiary both having small carnivores. They fed on the big or herbivores or primary consumers, and tertiary or top consumers are lions and tigers. So they cheetah, wolf, that is a leopard. They are the top consumers because they eat the secondary or tertiary consumers, all of them. So say decomposers means the plant is producer and consumer when die. So they can decompose. So they are mainly the bacteria, fungi, protozoa. So they are small microbes which fed on the dead bodies of the other producer or consumers. So they consume that, or we can say, so they simplify their body or dead body into the nutrients what things their body made can be simplified by the help of this decomposers. So decomposers play a very vital role to cycling of minerals, because without decomposition the things become not particularly come to their origin, means their own existing things. So plants take the nutrients from the soil and consumers take the nutrients from the plants, but after death of the plants and consumers or animals, they are simplified by the help of these microbes and then they again converted to the soil. So this is the way by which the cycling of minerals takes place. So understood what is going on in the first ecosystem? Like that, all the other terrestrial ecosystem having this particular activities. Now we discuss about one aquatic ecosystem. So in aquatic system, what happens? Aquatic system, what happens here? This is the first person, terrestrial. This one is the terrestrial. Now we discuss about the marine, or we can say aquatic ecosystem. Okay, in this ecosystem, we take the example of pond. Simply, pond ecosystem, you see pond very easily. All of you see the pond ecosystem. In this ecosystem, there is the same thing, that is the in this ecosystem there is the same thing, that is the producer, consumer, consumer 1, consumer 2, top consumer, and then decomposers. Decomposers. You see, in this one, the plant ecosystem, animal ecosystem. So say, pond ecosystem having the producer. So in a pond, what things become the producer? So small plants, aquatic plants. So aquatic plants may be either algae, okay, they are algae, or we can say small plants like hydrilla, water lily, water hydrangea. So the iconia, these are the producer of a pond ecosystem. After producing the food, they are consumed by the help of different type of consumers. So many consumers are here, consumer 1, consumer 2, top consumer. So say these consumers are enjoy the product of the producer. Producer either algae, hydrilla or other one produces food, means their activities to convert the solar energy into the chemical energy inside the water. So after that, what happens? Consumer 1 consume the producer food. That is mainly the here may be phytoplankton. Phyto means plant, plankton means the phyto means plant, and plankton means the small living creature, or we can say it is the plant. Phytoplankton. Plankton. It is consumed, means small plant, diatoms or other one, consumed by the help of zooplankton. Zooplankton can consume them. And some water insects or insects, aquatic or water insects. Water insects also able to feed them. So consumer 1 is the zooplankton or water fishes, and top consumers are big fishes. Big fishes, and you know that after the whole activities of consumption takes place, the living organisms are either they are mortal, so they will die. After death, what happens? It will go to the decomposer for decomposition. So see, decomposers are the group of organisms. They can decompose the dead bodies of the living organism, or we can say they are decomposers can decompose their dead bodies, and this is the activity of the pond ecosystem in which the things become in cyclic way. So see, decomposers are mainly the same bacteria, fungi, and we can say protozoans. So you heard the activity of biological oxygen demand, BOD. So what is BOD and how it creates the activity of purification water and their quality assessment. So see, when there is more production, sometimes the condition of a pond or an ecosystem of aquatic ecosystem will increase the nutrients there. Due to increasing the nutrients level, what happens? The production increases tremendously. When they increase much maximum, then after what happens? The things goes out of hand. What happens? Their dead bodies comes to the bottom, and where there is more bacteria and fungi, protozoa present for decomposition, but they consume maximum of the oxygen present in the ecosystem. So that's why biological oxygen demand increases. So BOD means biological oxygen demand increased, and after what happens? After that, the things become beyond the hand. Means when there is no oxygen inside the ecosystem, what happens? Or water bodies, the condition becomes fatal, and the water become unfit for the activity, because cycling of things not take place here. So this is the condition of, we can say, eutrophication. In this condition, what happens? The water bodies or aquatic ecosystem will not be able to give the fresh water, or the water becomes spoiled. So this is the way we understood about the things. What thing? The aquatic ecosystem and their components, and the terrestrial ecosystem and their components. So here you see the pond ecosystem having also the abiotic components here. Abiotic component in pond ecosystem. What are they? They are the air mixed in the water. Carbon dioxide and oxygen have capacity to mix in the water, and the temperature, sunlight, and the water is already present there. Water is also a abiotic component there. So see, these are the different type of components, abiotic and biotic. These are the biotic components. Of the ecosystem. So this is the way by which we understood the pond ecosystem as well as the terrestrial ecosystem having the activities of living, non-living, and their interactions. So living things interact with the non-living things and these components are together do the activity of their sustenance. So say producer, the consumers of different levels, and overall sustaining the activities of decomposers. Decomposers can decompose the things and make the things again in cyclic way. And in the aquatic system, there is the demand demand of biological oxygen. So this oxygen demands, if high or the amount of BOD is more, then after what happens? These things become fatter and out of hand. If and the crucial condition occur, that is the eutrophication. Eutrophication is the sign where there is the death of the water bodies or the ecosystem. In this case, the system become removed from the eutrophicated activities and try to enrich, try to remove the enrichment of the nutrients in it. So eutrophication condition become fatal to the water bodies, and we should try to make them natural or make them proper. Now we discuss about the components of ecosystem. Components of ecosystem means these are the terrestrial and the aquatic ecosystem. Now ecosystem overall components are what? Components of ecosystem. Components of ecosystem. You see, there are four main components of ecosystem. The first one, that is the productivity. First one, that is productivity. It may be either primary or secondary. Okay. Second one, that is the decomposition. Third one, that is the energy flow in ecosystem. And the fourth one, that is the nutrient cycling. So this is the things we have to discuss. In the next class we will discuss these things in detail. So productivity means how production takes place. Decomposition means how the dead bodies become decomposed into similar form. And energy flow means the flowing of energy from the solar or sun to the different level, means producer as well as consumer of different level. Nutrient cycling means the cycling of nutrients which is present in the body of the living organism. It can be again simplified by the help of decomposers, and then they will again ready for the consumption of the consumers as well as producer. So this is the nutrient cycling. So we can discuss these things in detail in the next class. Okay, thank you.